Okay, welcome back to 12 Family. Today I have the pleasure of speaking to,
Chasity Aniece.
oh my, and this is such a big one. If you are from New Haven or, honestly, so many other areas in CT, you have definitely heard of this name. So let's start by where are you from?
I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Bridgeport. Was it challenging to branch out coming from there?
No, not really. I feel like my mom, she's an entrepreneur. Well, both my parents are entrepreneurs, so
Mhm.
I feel like I was able to gain experience like talking to new people and also gaining like from their connections. I
Mhm.
was able to gain um, models from different areas and things like that. So, yeah.
And I would just like you, because off camera you told me this, but please mention your age and because I'm so amazed by that.
I'm 21. I turned 22 in November. Scorpio gang.
And how long have you been putting on fashion shows?
So my first show ever, I don't really count it, but my first show ever was in high school, and it was my senior year, and I was about 17 back then, so like I was really interested in fashion production, not just modeling, but like directing and set design, things like that. But I just didn't really find that I had the passion for it, but I didn't really know how to go about it because everyone was trying to push me to go to like college and
Hmm.
go that route. So I did my first like solo show when I turned 19, and it was in August 2019. So yeah, yeah, that was my experience. Yeah.
And I think that it's fair to say you're one of the biggest names right now that's doing fashion shows, especially within your age group. So how does that feel?
Amazing. I literally cry about this. Like it's so amazing seeing, and not even just putting it on, but it's amazing seeing people's growth, being able to train models, being able to gain people's trust, and like um, kind of having people look up to me. Like it's
Hmm.
really a blessing. It's a huge blessing, and I'm always like grateful for it forever.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And I want to take a second to talk about your brand because I know you have so many other companies up under your name. You have
Mm.
Chasity Aniece Productions, you
Mm.
have your luxury eyelashes.
Lashes. Yeah.
What was the process of building that brand for you?
Okay, so like I mentioned before, my both my parents are entrepreneurs, so I feel like I have that advantage of like seeing how I didn't see how they built their brand, but
Hmm.
like seeing how they ran it, how they function, and how they manage. So like I was able to pick up those um, traits and things like that from my parents, and the process for me starting luxury. Honestly, I dropped both brands at the same time on the
Wow.
same day. Yeah, so I debuted luxury at my first fashion show.
Hmm.
But it was a easy process, honestly. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
I
like
think
start.
that's just you. I think
Yeah.
you're just so good at this,
Thank
that
you.
it's just like this is not even that bad.
Thank you. Yeah, it just took research, determination,
Hmm.
consistency, and marketing. Honestly, marketing is like my biggest issue, but yeah, like those four components like really helped me start my businesses. Yeah.
And what about, the process of reaching out to some of these venues that allow you to put on your shows there? Was it hard to kind of get your name out there first?
So with okay, so I started my first show ever was at Crystal Hall,
Hmm.
and I just kind of found them on Facebook and I reached out to them and I was like, I want to put on a fashion show. I looked at the place and we kind of went from there. But 40 Logan Street Creative Venue, I want to mention them. They are like my go-to venue
Hmm.
in Bridgeport just because it's so professional. My parents have worked with Shauna and the owners of the building, and
Hmm.
they're like very professional. So yeah, I love going to them. But I feel like it wasn't hard to get my name out. It's just about reaching out, like putting your name out
Hmm.
there. And people tend to like take it in because I don't really just put on shows. I put on shows for like causes and like
Hmm.
informing people about things. So like a lot of people tend to connect with my shows just off of, like from me explaining it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you talk about how did you get into fashion? I know that you started off modeling,
Hmm.
but how did you get to any of that?
Okay, so funny story.
Hmm.
I did not have like an interest in fashion at first. I was really interested in like sports and things like that. So then I did a show with Lamont. He's another creative director out here in Connecticut. And I wasn't actually able to do the show because I chose volleyball over it back in high school. Yes. And crazy is so crazy. I'm not doing volleyball at all now, but
things worked out.
Yeah, literally, and that's really what caused me to like find interest in it because I loved like the process of getting the show together. Like I was able to see rehearsals. I was able to see the casting process, and that all was like interesting. Not even just like the show part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how I started my interest. Yeah.
In your opinion, what skills do you think it takes for somebody to last in this industry?
In my opinion, it takes genuine, or how would you say it? Genuineness, like being real. Because like if you're just doing it for like the money, or you're just doing it for like other reasons other than passion, you're gonna fail out. Like honestly, and people can see that, people can read that, and like the more genuine you are, the more people will want to work with you, and the more people you meet, and the more doors will open and things like that. So like staying genuine, staying humble, um, and just being grateful for everything that comes. Like, you know, don't get too big headed. Yeah. Like that's a really big thing.
And how many shows have you put on thus far?
I put on. Dang, can I?
Yeah, that's
wait.
fine.
So it's Vibrance, the Rebellion.
This is how you know there's talent, by the way. When you gotta really think about it, this is how you know she's dope.
It's been years. Like, okay. Vibrance, the Rebellion, Life in Color, Royalty, Break from Normal, and then this will be my 5th show. So I've put on 4 shows so far. Yes.
And what are some of those things that you learned, you know, in comparison to your first shows, how you've developed and, you know, to where you are now?
Yes. So like I feel like training, even like how I train has grew so much because back then I honestly wasn't the best model. I mean, I feel like I still have a lot more growing to do, you know, but like back then I was really I was just trying to lead. But now I have more experience. I've walked New York Fashion Week, things like that. So like I have more to give the models. So that's for like the training aspect, and then production wise, just timing, like making sure all models come out the runway on time. Like all those little things are super important. I didn't know that in the beginning. So like now I know it, and it's like a lot of things are flowing better. I'm getting a lot of things done quicker, more efficiently, and things like that.
Listen, well, it obviously worked. That we were talking about before we actually started putting on the cameras that, you know, things are flowing so efficiently and we're only at casting.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that the actual production is going to be that much better.
Thank you so much.
No
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Again, we talked about several different productions that you put on, and I also like how you mentioned that the production that you put on usually have a deeper meaning to it.
Yes.
And so I know that we just finished up Break from Normal. Can you talk about some of the deeper meanings that you like to do behind your shows?
Yes. So for this upcoming show, for example, it's motherland themed, and I'm going to have poetry, and I'm trying to bring bring light to African culture and how it influences the fashion industry. Because like a lot of people think, oh, it's just like China and like, you know, like different areas that like influence us, but like Africa does too, and we don't really know that. For the first half of the show, it's going to represent the daytime. It's going to be like African culture, not African culture, African dressing in the daytime, like outfits they would wear during the daytime, and then the second half will be nighttime, and it'll showcase like, you know, not all African clothing is like covering up the whole body. Like they still go out to the club, they still have fun in Africa, like, you know. So I want to show their way of living through fashion, dance, and poetry.
And that's really, really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, you're multi-talented. You do modeling and you put on shows. And I saw that you did Sustainable. You did Iconic Connections.
Yes.
I would like to talk about the difference between a show that you're modeling and versus a show that you're putting on.
Okay. So there's a lot of differences, honestly. Not to brag, not to brag. Side note, but it's like it's just a different environment. Like, I feel like when I go to shows, it's typically like we don't really have rehearsals. Everybody knows how to walk, and everybody just gets the job done, you know, and then leaves. Of course, there's some networking and things like that, but like with my shows, it's like we're a family. We have rehearsals every week. We just grow a partnership and friendship, and like even now, I have a whole group chat with my models, and we just text and like we meet up, go to the beach, and things like that. Like we are literally connected, and everybody gets along so well. Like it's literally a family, and I appreciate that so much. Like I love that part of it.
I think that's
I feel like that's a huge difference between
yeah.
my
And
shows.
you know, I was telling you before we started recording again that I got a chance to talk to some of the models that came here today, and every single one of them, you know, whether it was their first time modeling or whether it was something that they're very seasoned with, they said compared to anything else that they've done, they felt more at home working with you. I think that's so dope. You know, again, you're being so young, and so many people are having such a positive experience from your shows already. I think that's really, really good.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. What is more nerve-wracking, when you're walking in a show or when you're putting on one?
Wow, that's a good question. I feel like it's definitely more nerve-wracking putting on a show. Because I feel, don't get me wrong, I feel confident in my models that they're gonna walk and do the dang thing. But it's like always that what if, you know, type of thing. Like, what if something happens where I did something wrong, or something happens where like a garment falls or anything like that, and I kind of feel like it all falls back on me. So it's like a huge responsibility, and it's out of my control, you know. So like that's really what's nerve wracking. But I still don't get that nervous because like I feel like whatever's meant to happen is going to happen, and like I have faith in my productions and my models, and yeah, we train for it. So yeah, I usually am not nervous.
Okay, well, listen, I wish I had even half of the courage that you have.
Thank you.
Because you know you have to have a whole lot of it.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts, 100%.
To speak of some of your other accomplishments, I saw that Break from Normal made the news.
Yes.
That's so exciting. How was that feeling for when you first found out?
It was amazing. This is actually my second time being on News 12.
Wow.
Yeah, my first time was my first Life in Color show, and like the growth in just the interview itself. Like I wasn't able to speak because I was in Spain at the time, but my assistant, she spoke beautifully. She was just everything. Like she expressed exactly how I would have. So it was just like amazing to get the video back, seeing everything. I was just so proud.
And that's good. Your team is obviously out here hustling just as hard as you. 100%. It's important to have, you know, those people that can fill in for you when you can't be there.
Yes.
And you know, they're still representing the brand.
Right. And I never had that before. Like I'm like the growth from now, even from my last show, because I just honestly, well, not my last show, the show before the last one. I didn't have a team. I was one woman production team, and like literally they came into my life and they were all models. The Giselle, Navante, and Ari, they're all models in my show. And I just saw something in them. I saw their determination, their passion, and I was like, please come on my team. I need y'all. And now they're here, and they are taking it by storm, like literally.
Wow.
Yeah. It's huge.
It definitely. Okay, so you know you're obviously so successful right now, but you're still very, very young. What are some of your long-term goals for the industry?
So I definitely am looking into opening up a photography / event hall studio, where I will hold my shows. Eventually, I want to open up an agency as well that is super all inclusive, no pressure. You know, like things that you get from the industry. I just want to like shift the industry, even if not the whole industry, just my lane. Like I just want everybody to feel like a family, no matter how big I get, no matter any of that. I just want that family element always to be there, like everybody getting along and just existing together, you know? So yeah, I want to bring that to the industry 100%.
And I think that being somebody again that's so young, but somebody that's so experienced, you probably have a lot that you can offer people who also want to follow in your footsteps. So what would you say for somebody that also wants to get into putting on fashion shows?
Ooh, go for it. Like literally, I know that sounds corny, but it's facts, okay? go for it. Like, don't don't be scared. And it's like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. The longer you wait, the more the industry changes, and like you gotta get with the program. So it's better to start early and start now so that you can work out your kinks, get your productions together, and yeah, just go for it. That's my advice.
Well, I think that, so many people are inspired by your journey, and I can't wait till this gets out and so many people see, just a little splash of, the light that you shine.
Thank you.
You're so busy. I don't want to take so much of your time, but thank you so much for speaking with me. I would like you to shout out every page that you have. I know you don't, you got a couple, so definitely
Yes.
let everybody know where to find you.
Okay, so my main page is Chasity Aniece, ChasityAniece. So if you want to get to know me a little bit more on a personal level, definitely follow that. I also have my productions page at C.A Productions, and my lashes is at luxury.us.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.